Hello, my name is Heather Ryans. I am a married mother of two and also a healthcare worker. Today I want to talk to you about something that is very dear to my heart: parental incarceration. The goal of this presentation is to understand how parental incarceration impacts the kids in Oklahoma. With that being said, how many of you know someone whose parent has been incarcerated? Have you thought about how this has affected them? Did it affect them as an adult? I want you to take a moment to think about those questions, and you probably have somebody in mind. If we cannot help manage this trend, our children will continue to suffer. Being able to obtain safe and stable homes bolsters child well-being and reduces re-victimization. So we must improve the lives of children whose parents are incarcerated. Today, we will analyze the harm the causes of living in a single-parent family and help improve these children's lives. Let's start with the harm. Is it the children's fault that their parents are incarcerated? Of course not, but they are affected by this. The three main problems with parental incarceration are stress, trauma for the kids involved, and third, the financial burden that it has on the parent or guardian left to raise them alone, and the negative impacts that it has on the community in which they live. Now I want to talk about how stressful and traumatic parental incarceration is on children. Children of incarcerated parents move more frequently than their peers, even more so when both parents are imprisoned. This means children lack the stability that they need. According to the CDC, safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments are essential to preventing child maltreatment and also to ensure that all children can reach their full potential. We know that healthy relationships between parents and their children are important. But a recent special issue by the Journal of Adolescent Health has shed some light on the importance of safe, stable, nurturing relationships between parents and other adults in preventing child maltreatment. Let that sink in for a minute. Child maltreatment. One, because of their parents' mistake, this child could be abused. The overall well-being of a child is impacted. According to articles by the Annie Casey Foundation, having a parent incarcerated is a stressful, traumatic experience of the same magnitude as abuse, domestic violence, and divorce, with a potentially long-lasting negative effect impacting on a child's well-being. So having said that, the long-lasting negative effects on a child's well-being, I want to take a moment to talk about a little bit of my personal experience. I, fortunately, am not a child my parent was never incarcerated, but I do have a cousin who was incarcerated. His son is 7. At his first incarceration, he was 4. I witnessed everything possible go on within the last 3 years, because sadly my cousin recently passed away. His son went from acting out to just being angry all the time. He was angry that he wasn't with his father, and unfortunately his mother wasn't in the picture. I witnessed how excited he got the first time that his dad got out of prison, and he thought this whole new life was about to happen. And unfortunately it didn't. Having been in prison and not having graduated from high school, he was unable to find a decent paying job and unfortunately went back to his old ways. And then the cycle continued. But fortunately for my little cousin, he had a family that loved him and knew about financial help to get him through this. And with counseling and lots of love and support, he has gotten through things that no child should ever go through. And I know that he still struggles, but I just think, what if he did not have that stable stability from people that loved him and who got him help? So what contributes to this cause of having a parent incarcerated? I kind of listed some just in my own experience, but there's that financial burden. One cause of a parent being incarcerated is the financial strain that it puts on the other parent or guardian of the child. They may have had two people getting an income, and now that one parent is left having to cover bills and take care of a child on one income when they barely was making it on two. There is also that psychological need. We all know that children love and adore their parents. But what do you think happens to them when they are away from a parent for that long length of time? Who do they turn to for support and stability, even that emotional support? Given the situation above, there are some ways to help with this growing trend. I looked at some recommendations, and I thought it would be best just to list 3. One of my recommendations would be that we could help have the child have access to behavioral counseling, as well as the guardian or parent that is left to support them. Fortunately, in the state of Oklahoma, we have something called Sooner Care, and majority of the children whose parent has been incarcerated qualify for Sooner Care, and counseling is covered partially on that. I also believe that 2, we can make the parent help the parent or guardian have access to financial assistance for daycare, for food, for even partial rental or mortgage assistance. There's so many opportunities and support out there that I just think some families have no idea that it's there. And I feel like we really need to make more of an effort to let them know what is available for them. And 3, I believe that we can make it mandatory that parents who are incarcerated and do not have a high school diploma get their GED while they're in prison. And maybe if they do this, it possibly lowers their prison sentence, depending on the severity of their conviction. I don't know. There's some things you may not want to get reduced. And they should also be able to take parenting classes and have options to attend trade school in order to help with the financial burden that's going to happen once they're out. And I think that is where we get into this recurring thing of getting out and doing something because they're not making enough money, and then it just starts over and over and over and over again. In the end, it is high time that we recognize the significant changes that we can make in order to help our children in Oklahoma. We know the problems and we now know the solutions. I truly believe just a few changes can make a difference in these kids' lives. So please, take the time to think about the children or a family that you know that are having a hard time. What can you do, or what kind of support can you offer to them to maybe help them smoothly transition into a safer way of living for the child? Thank you.